Virginia, they're coming for your guns. In fact, they are already telling you that every purchase, transfer, or sale is going to make you the criminal. The criminals they already had theirs. They're going to keep theirs. You, Virginia lawful citizens, you are going to be ass out and bullet less. You better get busy.
Law makes it a Class 1 misdemeanor to make, sell, buy, import, or transfer an assault firearm. The ban does not apply to certain weapons, including antique firearms or firearms that have been rendered permanently inoperable. Governor Spanberger said she signed the bill, quote, to protect families and support the law enforcement officers who work every day to keep our communities safe, end quote. The National Rifle Association plans to fight the ruling in court.
There it is. There it is. So you saw it. This former CIA officer turned Virginia governor just signed a sweeping package of gun restrictions in her first month of office. So this one that she just signed was yesterday, Senate Bill 749. Folks, this is what we've been talking about. Now, as they continue to put more laws on gun owners, all right, in the same span, they are removing the laws for illegals. They're making it a sanctuary state. I mean, and we're seeing crime is increasing in this area. They're leaving us, like Shelley said, ass out. Nicole, what are your thoughts on this thing?
Listen, this is what's going to happen all across the country in blue states. It's what they tried to do here in Maryland. The NRA will fight them. People will fight them. But I'm going to tell you now, if the criminals are the only people with guns, America, we're in trouble. This is your moment. Get yourself in a class, get you an HQL if you live in a blue state. If you're capable, get yourself a concealed carry so that you can protect your family. Because at this point, it's all out war on the American citizen. Virginia is leading the way.
Yeah. Wow. Shelley, I mean, this starts July 1st. Law-abiding Americans in the Old Dominion will be barred from importing, buying, selling, transferring, or manufacturing guns. Yep. Am I reading too much into this?
No, you are reading at least what I see with the Senate Bill 749. I looked it up. It says, quote, the purchase, sale, transfer, etc. of assault firearms and certain ammunition feeding devices prohibited. So that means, in my never to be humble opinion, I mean, hell, I was only educated in Baltimore City Public Schools, so maybe I'm wrong, okay? But nevertheless, that says that you can't buy them, you can't sell them, you can't transfer. And what is this ammunition feeding? Well, a semi-automatic firearm feeds itself, if you will. That's why it's called semi-auto. It feeds the ammo. So basically, this is coded language. It's coded. Then they use the word assault. Well, any firearm they classify as an assault because in their minds, firearms are only, they do all the violence. The lawful people have them, use them to commit violent crimes, not the criminals, okay? But so this is all language, it's legalese. Ultimately, it means it's going to be illegal for legal Virginians, and we keep saying Virginia, but this is the DMV, and of course, this is a part of America. This is what they want all over the country. It's starting in Virginia. It's going to fizzle around to the DMV because what we have in the DMV, we have these sort of what they call contract agreements, if you will, sort of like a contract where because we live so close together, you can go to Virginia and buy a gun and bring it back to Maryland, things like that. But now they're making it more and more difficult. Okay, Maryland has its own version from that bitch Senator Ward Striker. Now you got this bitch man in Virginia, Salim, not even American, coming here writing laws to prohibit American citizens. It's a war on Americans. That's what it is. It's a war on Americans. I'm sick of these people, these immigrants. I don't care if they're here. They should not be in office, number one. It's a war on Americans. I'm sick of it.
Yeah. And people keep saying, because when I was talking about the Maryland one, okay, people would say, well, what about it being grandfather? It's grandfathering. If you already have these guns, then you're not going to have any issue. But then I started seeing here in Maryland, a lot of gun shops are closing. So do you guys see the connection there? Why are the gun shops closing now with this new congressional bill?
They're making it illegal to sell, again, purchase, sell, transfer. These people have licensed businesses. They call them FFLs, where you go to buy guns legally, okay? And there's a transfer, things like that. People who do it legally. They are coming after Americans. It's full force war on Americans, from the First Amendment on down to every other, the 27th Amendment. They want Americans to be under their feet, basically, to have their feet on our necks and not be able to defend ourselves. And when the government is big and too big, this is when the First Amendment, Second Amendment, we're supposed to kick in with that, because this is all the purpose, to stop our government from exercising tyranny over us. This is a war on Americans. Virginians, I don't know how you let this happen, but I urge you, I implore you, you better get this off your books very quickly.
Let me tell you, they elected a CIA officer. That's how they got here. Right. You elect somebody who's a CIA officer, this is what you get.
And I want to ask you, Nicole, because Abigail Spanberger, the governor, she is playing this as this is going to be a something to protect families. This is how she is pushing the narrative that this is a protection for families. So what do you say to that?
Democrats always say that when they're pushing gun control. Do you know, if you listen carefully, you'll hear Democrats from the DNC all the way down to your local elected person telling you that Americans can't be trusted with guns. We just simply cannot be trusted to protect and defend ourselves. And even in states where you are allowed to protect and defend yourselves, very barely here in Maryland, I'm telling you, if somebody breaks into your house, and you're behind him, you better not shoot him. You better run around the house and shoot him in the chest, because your butt is going to jail. They're going to lock you up. They're going to lock you up for defending your home, for defending your property. They make it so hard for you to actually live like a free human being, like an American, the way you're supposed to. When we wrap ourselves in our constitutional rights, states like Virginia say it's not enough. Your Constitution won't protect you from me. My rule is bigger than what anything the Supreme Court has said. There has already been several court cases about bans of a similar nature that have been defeated. Why would Virginia, who at this point is looking at 3-0 with the Supreme Court, why would they even try it with the Supreme Court? Why would they even do it? You know why? Because this is a part of their greater plan. You know, when we talk about people who have their eye on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, do not count Miss Spanberger out of that conversation. She is absolutely the darling of her party.
Yeah. And as you both mentioned, Maryland just passed a similar bill. Now, Maryland one's is a little more aggressive because Maryland bans ownership outright. This Virginia one only, as right now at least, bans future sales and transfers. Existing guns stay legal, at least for now. All right. But again, both of these erode at the Second Amendment, folks. When you give them a little bit, they're going to take it all, the whole dang town. You give them a mile, they're taking the whole town. They're taking the whole highway. All right. This is what they're doing. This is the plan. We cannot stay silent on this, folks. We got to push back. And I already see the NRA is already gearing up. They're taking it to court. They're taking the one here in Maryland to court as well.
They still have cases. They're still in court cases. I'm sorry, these cases, number one, if people don't come out and testify when they're at the lower level, it's not a good thing that they get higher and higher. It makes it that much more onerous to bring back, because not only that, once they are passed, even though there is a lawsuit, NRA, other organizations file lawsuits, Well, that interim time, those things are in effect. Those laws are in effect. This is saying, what's that? The senator from Virginia, Salim, I don't know, whatever, Muhammad, whatever his name is. He's going to have, we're going to allow you, if you already have them, to keep them. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Exactly.
We're keeping all of them. And not only that, even in Virginia, I bet you between now and July, I would probably presume that gun sales are going to go up. Okay, gun sales are going to go up, not just in Virginia, but Maryland, North Carolina, wherever. They're going to go up. I encourage you, please go buy more guns and ammo. Buy them as many as you can afford, and that you can, supply that self-feeding mechanism. This is ridiculous. These people they want America to be communist, if you will, tyrannical. This is what they ultimately want. They want to take the weapons, the firearms legal out of the hands of citizens, so that we can literally be at their mercy. Because if they're not going to stop there, if they come after your guns and your weapons, whatever, your protection for you and your family, they take all those mechanisms. So what do you have when they do come after you for any kind of made up charges and things that you can't? What are you going to do? Nothing. And this is what they want. They want you at their mercy. These people do not mean you any good. They're not protecting you. While that bitch wall striker, yes, in Maryland, that bitch Salam, whatever, Assalamu Alaikum in Virginia, and whomever else, all of you, yes, they have protection. They have armed security at our expense, at our damn expense, and then they want to go and take our rights. They literally want to rip up our Constitution. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, this is what they're trying to do. This is what it is. Folks, this is Poppin' Politics. Remember to like, share, and subscribe as you come in. Come on in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we appreciate the support. If you are tired, like us, of power-hungry commie leftists, this is what they are. These are communists, folks, trying to strip us of our rights and, in the same way, tear our country apart. This is what they want to do. If you're tired of this and you want to stand up against it, you're in the right place. All right. So, ladies, let's set this off. Even though this is bad news for patriots, we have some good news, folks. We still got a Supreme Court that deals in the Constitution, that believes in our Constitution. And so Virginia just got smacked in the face with this. The Supreme Court told them, get out of here, didn't he? Let's show it. This Trump said it too.
Get the hell out of here.
Yep, that's what he did. The Supreme Court told Virginia that today in their gerrymandering. All right. So breaking today. Nicole, you want to expand on this?
Sure. The United States Supreme Court refused to take up Virginia's emergency petition for relief for their redistricting map. Right. So as we well know, Virginia's own Supreme Court said they did not follow their rules. They did not follow their own regulations. So the map that they had gerrymandered to only have one Republican district in the entire state is null and void. Even though they had, this referendum and they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on that thing. So their attorney general threw together a quick brief and misspelled Virginia and a couple other words. I think senator was another word that they misspelled, but ran it over to Washington, D.C. and asked to be heard by the Supreme Court. Can you give us a ruling, some relief from our own Supreme Court? And the justices said, kick rocks. We're not interested.
Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
And they meant it. Get out of here, Spanberger. They've already made their redistricting rule for the year. It was Louisiana and Calais. Listen, they've had enough. Virginia, your own Supreme Court did not violate the law. There's no reason for you to have an emergency petition in front of the Supreme Court. It was a great day today for Republicans.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so what they have to do, they have to stay with the concurrent congressional map. It stays in place through the 2026 elections, through midterms. It stays in place. Democrats lost a major opportunity to redraw these districts as they wanted to do. All right. They wanted to gerrymander this and totally change the maps and make it go towards Democrats. That's done. And this is a huge reminder, folks, that the Constitution still matters. Procedure still matters. And you can't just rewrite the rules because your side wants more seats in Congress. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this?
All I know is I'm freaking pissed because these people, they hate America. They hate it as it is. They hate that we are a constitutional republic. They will try any and everything. They keep trying. They will keep at it, and they will find ways to tweak and remake, rewrite, whatever you want to call it. And when they get in power, this is what majority, if you will, or unilateral power does. It tramples on the rights that are used and that we have had long held that to protect everybody, certainly, but their power sees no bounds. They don't have enough. They are insatiable. They are power lustful, if you want to call power hungry, beyond the limits where you think you'd be like, okay, that's enough. No, they're not satisfied until people are bleeding, dead, crushed, whatever, under their feet and under their tutelage. That's what they want. These people are dangerous, okay? All the ex-spooks, Spanberger, I don't care what you are, what you call yourself. You don't like America, then you already are my enemy. That's it.
You're right. And this is why, folks, even though they try to cheat, they control the mainstream media, and so on. Even though they try to do that, we still have a voice here in our country. And Absolutely. It's important that we use it. Folks, we got to get out here. We got to vote in these midterms. You got to talk to your neighbors that are conservative, talk to your family members. And we have to stress to them how important this upcoming election is. All right. Because again, the country is still ours, but we have to use our voices and our votes to exercise it, folks. All right. This is what really upsets them even more. This is what happened during the last election. We made it too big to rig. All right. This is how we got Trump in office. We can't take our foot off the gas. And as I say, folks, this is a game. This is a war. All right. And patriots,
the shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
There it is. There it is. All right.
So you got to play to win. You got to play to win. And I distinctly remember beginning of the term, people were saying, "Oh, we're not playing to win. We're being too soft." So give them a minute. They're just cranking it up, and it's going to get hotter. I mean, again, we're having the mini convention a little bit later on in the fall to get the troops rallied. But folks, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. I'm telling you now. Here in Maryland, they sent out mail-in ballots. Right? I think it was like 200,000, 300,000 mail-in ballots. And now they're sending out a second batch of that same mail-in ballot to those same people. Now, why would they do that? Oh, there was a problem with the vendor, the printing, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Are we voting like Democrats this year, ladies? Twice? Is that what we're doing? We're voting lots of times often. Is this what we're going to do? They're going to try every dirty trick in the book, every single dirty trick in the book. So we have to win big. You're absolutely right, KJ. This is chess, not checkers.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. So we folks, I want to hear from you. We want to hear what you have to say. We have some super chatters here, Shelley.
All right, let's see what we have. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. Kung Fu CJ, thank you for your $2. A lawsuit has already been filed to a violation. Yeah, it has. The NRA has, and the other people will join as amicus. Here you are, right? Kung Fu CJ again, $2. Because they asked out Shelley E. We have Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn. Thank you for your $5. They will have to take my guns out of my cold, stiff, decaying, dead hands.
I know that's
this
right.
is unconstitutional. I'm with Shelley. F you. Love the look, Nicole. All right.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
That's very nice.
Everybody out there, and look, hit the like, share, and subscribe. Just because you upset, hit it right now. If your adrenaline's going up, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Please share this. Share this with the commies in your family that we are not going down lightly. We're not giving up our rights. We're certainly not giving up our guns. I'm not going to shut up because I believe in 1A. So that's just it. So they're going to have to come correct because they will get their asses kicked. We're sick of it.
Not only your commies in your family, send it to the gun owners in your family who don't vote. We call them low propensity voters, right? They don't vote unless there's something really egregious or it's a presidential election. This is the only 2 times they vote. Well, this is something really egregious. They're going to snatch the guns out of your hands. That's what they're going to do. And then everybody's going to be looking like, well, how did this happen? It happened because you didn't vote. These midterm elections, our country is riding on this. Our way of life is riding on this. Your right to bear arms is riding on this. Your right to free speech is riding on this. You think we're being hyperbolic? We're not. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the United Kingdom, where you can't have a firearm, where they lock you up for Facebook posts. Is that the nation we want to live in? We're headed right down that same road.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. We got to do what Shelly's shirt says. Defend. There it is. All right. All right, folks. So again, as you come in, hit that like button and subscribe. So, I mean, although we're sounding the alarm, but we are getting a little bit of, I don't know, what would we say? I would say the pressure is coming down a little bit due to a lot of these southern states. Conservative states have started to redistrict. Okay. And breaking today, the Democrats are now on their heels. All right. Today, breaking, Representative Steve Cohen, which is the lone Democrat in Tennessee's House delegation. He's been there for 19 years. Memphis has been his district. And we can see what he's done in those 19 years because Memphis, for the most part, with crime and things like that, is a hellhole. It's running neck and neck with Baltimore City, where we are here. All right. He's decided to end his re-election bid due to the redistricting. Take a look here, clip 2.
So that's something special about Memphis, and we're not going to have that. And I feel bad for my constituents because a lot of them come up to me regularly and say, please, we're for you, and don't quit. Don't quit. I've had people tell me as recently as today, African-American and Caucasian, don't quit. And I don't want to quit. I'm not a quitter. But these districts were drawn to beat me. They were drawn to defeat me. And I had an uncle a long time ago who told me many pithy statements. And he said,
all right, the sound was a little low, but he was speaking so low because he's so upset. He's so sad and upset. Okay. But again, he has decided not to run, not for re-election. Okay. And he's retiring at the end of this term. And he's saying it's due to the redistricting. So he didn't give any health excuses. He's not spending time with his family. He straight up said the new maps drawn by the Republican supermajority in Nashville killed his safe seat. Okay. But I mean, Nicole, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, if he doesn't want to compete, he's doing the right thing. Sit down. Sit down. Because now if you want Black votes, you're going to have to bring something to the table other than the same old crap he's been spewing for 20 plus years. He's actually going to have to convince voters, and not only Black voters, but other voters, that he's worth having that job. Give me a reason to keep you employed. We have high crime. We've got prostitution like they don't have it anywhere else in this nation. We had such a bad problem. The president sent in the National Guard. Tell me again why we're going to continue to elect you. Tell me again. Those are the questions. Listen, folks, these Democrats don't want to be held accountable. They had reliable districts. They didn't even have to campaign. They didn't ask for votes. They assumed their seat. It's like being a queen or a king. They assumed their mantle. Think Jasmine Crockett. Had Texas not redistricted, she would be coming back to the House of Representatives because she felt like this seat belonged to her. There are 2 other people in Texas, Doggett and Vesey, who aren't running for the same reason, because they cannot compete against the candidate who's going to go and knock the doors and talk to the constituents. What they're used to is people handing them the keys to Congress. That's not going to happen anymore. You're going to have to compete for the seat. And if you don't have it to do, sit your ass down. Exactly.
Yeah. Shelley, and what does this say? Because I'm sure it was a predominantly Black district. What does it say that, well, Nicole brought up a very good point, and we see it here, where you have these people who get reelected year after year easily. They do not have to knock doors. They do not have to fight for their seats because they're Democrats. And the way the district has been set up, it's a predominantly Democrat district, I guess. And so they feel like I don't even have to work for these people to vote for me. What does it say now they have to work and they're quitting?
That's it. It says that for all these years, I can, throw poop on these people and they will still elect me. I don't even give them the toilet paper or hose to wash it off. I'm just going to do what I want. I'm going to show up, say what I want, and damn them, they're going to put me in office. It's saying to him that he can't take those people for granted anymore, certainly not just by virtue of his district, if you will, or the way the lines are drawn. So take that bullshit, okay, and go. I don't care anymore. If you redistricting out whatever, particularly on racial lines, goodbye, good riddance. If you cannot vote and bring good policies, particularly economic policies, to the communities that you represent, take your bullshit and leave. Go.
Get the hell out of here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, be positive mindset in the chat. Just said something that just really resonated with me. Your political party and your race/ethnicity should not be in the same sentence. Amen. That should be on a t-shirt. It's kind of long, but it should be on a t-shirt for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, folks. Let us know what you all think. Sound off in the chat. Your super chats go a long way in keeping us online, and we shout out every super chat. So definitely let us know what you think. Are you in Tennessee? Do we have any Tennessee folks in the chat tonight? I'm curious to see what you all think. Also, I want you guys shout out where you all are from, where you are all around the country. I'm curious to see, do we have any Virginians? Do we have any people from Tennessee in the chat?
There may be 2 heirs out there.
Yes. Yeah, 2 heirs, right. Let us know what you think about these things, and just say, hey, shout out where you are, and let us know what you think about these bans, these gun bans, and this redistricting. We're curious to hear from you. All right. Well, folks, I mean, with the redistricting, with Democrats realizing that, they're going to have to work. They're going to have to work for these votes, earn the votes of the citizens. They're not only quitting, some of them are now they're just going all out mad, folks. I mean, and they're not keeping the way they're going to cheat and the way they're going to somehow try to skirt the rules and the laws. They're no longer keeping that quiet. Take a look at nutty Kamala Harris. She is back and she's crazier than ever. And she's saying the quiet part out loud. This is clip 3.
This is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it. And in that no bad ideas brainstorm, we talk about what we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College. We talk about the idea of Supreme Court reform, which includes expanding the Supreme Court. We invite a conversation about multi-members districts. We talk about, that if we win the Senate, which we should and we will, then the Senate Judiciary Committee should have rules that they put in place so when these people come before as nominees to the Supreme Court and lie, that they are held to account and consequence. Not just that somebody goes on cable news and says they lied, but that there are rules in place to actually penalize people for lying to a Senate Judiciary Committee. That we agree that it is right to have ethics rules for Supreme Court justices. And let's put those in place. Let's talk about statehood for Puerto Rico and DC. These are the things I think that we've got to do. We've got to neutralize these red states from cheating, including blue states expanding their maps. And all of this, I think, is look, we got to fight fire with fire. These folks are playing to win.
Wow. All right. Nicole, I mean, she pretty much, isn't what she's saying cheating? Unconstitutional?
Listen, two very quick things. Body language wise, when she got to the end of her statement, did you guys see how her eyes looked up and to the left? You know, I'm no Abigail Spanberger. When people do that, they're lying to you. That's what the CIA and body language experts say. But I will say this, what she's saying is a Democrat platform. This is their platform. They're not making any bones about it because the far left part of their party demands these things. And they all want to keep their seats. She would very much like to be president of the United States. The chances of them winning the Senate, slim and next to none. The chances of them winning the House, we're plus 10 at this point. Plus 10 at this point. And they started these redistricting wars. We didn't start this fire. But listen, if she would like for us to expand the Supreme Court, Trump, get on it. Let's go ahead and add these justices now. Let's add them now and top out at 13. Let's go. Let's do it now while we have time. Everybody be back at work on Monday. Issue number 1, expand the Supreme Court. Let's go to 13 justices and we'll seat. I don't want to say super conservative people, but maybe 1 or 2 regular Republicans, but definitely Mike Lee. Let's get him there. He's a constitutional scholar. Let's put him there and make sure the Constitution is upheld. And he's young enough to serve. Maybe Brandon Gill. He's super young. He'll be there for all of his lifetime. I really like that particular idea, but let's not wait until the Democrats get back into power. Let's do it now. Kamala, that whole thing that she's doing, no bad ideas. No bad ideas brainstorm. You know what we call that, folks? We call that happy hour. When everybody's been drinking and you talking politics, just pulling stuff out the sky. But for Democrats, this is their new political platform. America better vote Republican, or they're telling you what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Shelley, what are your thoughts on that, on what she's saying?
So first of all, that no bad ideas brainstorm, that's just Kamala Harris up in a nutshell, okay? I mean, because none of her ideas, they're not bad, they're not good. They're just out there in la la land. That's number 1. So that's number 1. Number 2, what's scary about what she says is that if, she said this too, if they take over the Senate and the House and the presidency, they will do that. They will do exactly what she's saying. Number 3, don't get so happy out there if you all think, no, stacking the Supreme Court and the Electoral College, but certainly the Supreme Court, it will take a constitutional convention or a constitutional amendment, which is very difficult to do. That's how it's built to do. But she's telling you all what they will do. If they get the Senate and the House and certainly the presidency, it's a done deal. That's number 4. She said something about ethics for Supreme Court. This is what I say she's dumb. Excuse me. Congress does not rule or manage the Supreme Court. It doesn't. It has its own article. It's its own jurisdiction. Three co-equal branches. So Congress, why don't you do what Congress is supposed to do? Okay, that's what we need you to do right now. What you're supposed to be doing, not trying to manage the Supreme Court. You want to fight fire with fire? I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah. I mean, and what they want, what you brought up a very good point. What they want to do is create another Congress. If you pack the Supreme Court with a bunch of people, it's just Congress in robes, folks.
It's the Senate all over again. It's Senate 2.0. Right.
Yeah. That's not constitutional. It really isn't. And did you hear what she said about the Electoral College? They want to get rid of the Electoral College. That is the goal. The Electoral College protects smaller states from domination by a handful of massive urban populations. They know that these urban centers, which are predominantly Democrat, are densely packed. And so if they get rid of the Electoral College, they believe that they will win most of these upcoming elections. All right. But we know America is a constitutional republic. Hello. Made up of states, not a pure democracy. All right. And the founders intentionally balanced population power with state sovereignty. But they hate that. They hate it, folks. We got to get on. We have to sound the alarm on this, all right? Because a lot of people don't understand our history and why we have these institutions are created and made the way they are. I had somebody ask me recently, what's so bad about packing the court? Or why do we need the electoral college? They don't teach this stuff in school. So this is why people don't know.
No, they don't know. And they will do all of this. They will do all of this. Ultimately, to get rid of the electoral college, of course, they want this idea of this national popular vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the people who don't understand, that means like KJ saying, the smaller states, your vote, depending on where you are, they're not even going to have to come and ask for your vote, okay? It's going to take advantage that they're going to get into office, and they will stay in office, okay? These people, again, the theme running through tonight, when I saw our topics, the theme that came to mind is that these people hate America. They hate America and they hate Americans. They are all out for anybody else that will usurp and overturn and turn upside down the American Constitution as we know it.
Right. They want to weaken our institutions. That's it. They want to weaken the idea of checks and balances. They want to a centralized power, which is the government. This is what they want. All right, folks. And we got to push back against it. We got to know what they're doing, understand what they're doing, understand our history and push back against it. This is why, again, as we said, these midterms are so important. Patriots, you cannot sit this out, all right? Because when politicians stop trying to persuade voters and start trying to redesign the system itself, Americans should pay attention, all right? And we pay attention with our votes.
Absolutely.
All right. So, folks, as you come in, hit that like button. All right. We want to get this video out in front of a wider audience. YouTube is doing something weird lately. So some of our videos aren't, getting out to as many people as they have been previously. So, folks, we need your help. If you believe in what we're saying, if you feel like it's valuable, please share this video and hit that like button and subscribe. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. All right. Do we have any additional supers that we missed earlier?
I thought we had one. Oh, there we go. Kung Fu CJ again. Thank you for your $2. She was drunk out of her mind.
She usually is. She usually is drunk out of her mind. There's some very interesting comments in the chat. I see that I think it's Robin B. Moore says, I want something for my vote. How about freedom? I'll give you some freedom for your vote. Because let me tell you, you vote the wrong way, you're going to kiss freedoms goodbye. Because if they can take your guns, how will you defend your right to free speech? How will you defend your right to vote when they just assume because of your skin color or your zip code what your vote should be? I mean, think about it long term, right? We have this generation that's coming behind us that's a little less race focused than our generation. They're a little bit more homogenous. Every generation we get a little bit more homogenous. And they're like, maybe guns are a bad thing. Maybe everybody having a gun is not a great idea. You see memes like that and posts like that all the time. Guns are a great thing. Guns are the reasons why you don't speak German now. That's the reason why everybody in Europe they can speak French, they can speak English, and not everybody got taken by the Nazis. Those are guns. Guns protect your freedom. Guns allow you to have liberty. It gives you the opportunity to pursue happiness. Now, there are some people who are bad actors with guns, and none of us are saying that there aren't bad actors with guns. But I'm going to tell you something. Good guys with guns save the day every single day. Every single day. So we should not be willing to give over any of our constitutional rights so the Democrats can have a seat in Congress. That's not what we should be doing.
And I want to jump in really quickly because I think Rob was from Baltimore, where we're from. Okay. And he or she said, I want something for my vote. Well, vote differently. We know in Baltimore City, most people vote Democrat. So if you feel like you're not getting anything for your vote, It's because we are living in a Democrat stronghold. It's Democrats in the mayor's office, in the city council. There's Democrats running the law enforcement in the state's attorney's office, police. Everybody here is Democrat, and they're all bliggity black. Okay, so
blind voters.
If you feel like you aren't getting something for your vote, it's because of that, and we gotta start voting differently. And in 2020, was it 2020 or was it 20? I think it was 2020. We had in Baltimore City the largest number of Republicans running in that have ever ran. Okay,
I think there were 8 of them.
Yes, absolutely. And none of them got voted in. You know why? Because we couldn't get any of them really media. See, mainstream media in Baltimore City was turning people away. They wouldn't allow them to debate, the Democrats. Everything was stacked against them. All right. So you got to vote differently.
You got to. Let's see what our super chatters say. We have a couple of super chatters here. The Scrapping Beauty, hi. Thank you for your $5 super chat. From the hills, valleys, and cities, we deserve to be equal. Thank you for your super chat. Silver, I don't know, Silver of Zot, I think. Thank you for your $20 super chat. The Virginia case was decided by Supreme Court judges. It was not decided by Republicans. It is truly rich. They call them Republicans the cheaters. I think. I love your show. Well, thank you for that. I'm sorry I butchered your chat there. I'm sorry for that. Hi, Bernie. I saw you told me hi. How are you out there? I haven't talked to you in a while in the chat. All of you in the chat, please hit that share, like, and subscribe. Also, don't forget, we have a website where you can go and you can shop. The merchandise is there. All the show platforms are there. You can like and sign up there as well. It's www.metroconservativemedia.com. And later after the show, of course, there's always the Discord stream where you can chat as well. Look, get busy tonight, you all. These themes on here tonight, the themes running through all these topics, I in my never to be humble opinion, is basically these people hate America and they hate Americans. They don't give a damn about us. They want our country to be, I don't know, North Korea, China, whatever, pick one. But if they don't want it to be America, and we are the only ones that are there to hold up and tell them, hell no, we're not going to let you do it.
I think it was Momo who said that they were from Virginia. Momo, that first shirt you should get, and you can walk anywhere in Virginia, just stand next to people. These people are crazy. These people are absolutely crazy. But I'm going to tell you, folks, elections have consequences. And if Virginians haven't learned anything, elections have consequences. Your life has been forever changed, and she's just getting started. Thank God she only gets to have one term. Thank God. Thank God. But folks, get your merch. Wear your politics on your chest. It's a great conversation starter. It's a great way to support the channel, and you're going to look good with so many events coming up, and the weather is, getting warmer and warmer because KJ is praying for more and more heat. I wish he would stop it. Stop it, KJ. But this is your moment. Get you some merch now. It's a great way to support us, and you'll also look good. Send us your picture, and we'll put it on the air with us.
All right. And special shout out into the chat. We have Jay Witt Podcast watching tonight. Hey, Jay Witt. He has a wonderful YouTube channel, folks. If you aren't watching, you got to watch and subscribe at the Jay Witt Podcast is in the chat. So thank you so much for watching with us tonight. All right. So, folks, speaking of pushing back against these commies, all right, and the lying, biased mainstream media, Eric Trump, breaking news today, he is going to sue MSNBC, now called MS Now. All right, he just dropped the hammer. He announced his plans to sue today MS Now and host Jen Psaki for what he calls blatant lies. All right. In a segment on her show, The Briefing, which aired, I believe, last night. So, folks, this is the Trump family. They've been fighting since President Trump came down that escalator, and he's still fighting. And now he's fighting fire with fire against the legacy media machine. All right, take a look here. This is clip 4.
Trump's adult son Eric is right now. Well, he's with his father in China. Now, Eric Trump does not have a role in the U.S. government. In fact, he's supposed to be sort of firewalled off from any U.S. government activities because he took over the family businesses when his father re-entered the White House, supposedly to prevent conflicts of interest. But there he is. You can see him. Now, I should say that when asked about Eric Trump joining the trip, the White House simply said that there were no conflicts of interest there. I guess thanks for that. A spokesperson for Eric himself said that Eric was just joining the president in his own personal capacity, saying that Eric will not participate in any discussions or meetings related to any business entity, and that Eric Trump does not have business ventures in China or plans on doing business with China. Now, that is quite an interesting denial, given this piece in the Financial Times out just today. And here's the headline. Eric Trump joins Beijing trip as family-linked group chases China deal. You see, Eric is on the board of a company called Alt-5 Sigma, and you can see him and Don Jr. here ringing the opening bell at the NASDAQ with the name of that company and the name of the Trump family crypto company right behind them. Well, today, while Eric is in China with his dad, the Financial Times is reporting that this company has a memorandum of understanding to explore a potential deal with a Chinese computer chip manufacturer to build AI data centers and a whole bunch of other AI-related stuff. Oh, and guess what else? That Chinese firm they have that memorandum of understanding with, well, Congress has warned that that company is connected to the Chinese Communist Party. Now, neither the Chinese chip manufacturer or Alt-5 responded to the Financial Times request for comment, but it certainly seems like Eric might be getting a little more than just quality time with his dad out of this China trip, doesn't it? I mean, I could go on and on and on about all of the sketchy ways that Trump's sons are making money while their dad is president. Just last month, Eric was on Fox Business bragging out loud about how one of his companies scored a $24 million contract with the Pentagon. Last year, a company partially owned by Trump's other adult son, Don Jr., landed a nearly $5 million contract with the U.S. Air Force. And both of Trump's sons are now part owners in a new drone company that is hoping to win major Pentagon contracts.
All right. So in an X post, Eric Trump responded to her point by point. He says he's never been on the board of Alt-5. He's quoted as saying, "Not now, not ever." So you heard her in that rant. She said that he was there to peddle the chips for Alt-5. He said he's not on the board of Alt-5. He says he has zero business interests in China. He's quoted to say no properties, no investments, nothing, he says, end quote. All right. He said the trip was personal, family capacity with his wife, Laura. They visited the Great Wall. They had no private meetings. All right. So I don't know. Nicole, do you think that he has a case, or you think, he's just blowing off steam?
Oh, no, he's definitely got a case. Facts are facts, right? And even when it comes from Democrats, when they try to connect dots, right, it's very tenuous. And what's really interesting is, that Jen Psaki served in the Biden administration, right? Where we know that Hunter Biden sold some, finger paintings for millions of dollars, and the big guy, and he did lots of business with China. But when asked about it, she couldn't seem to connect those very clear dots. But here she is with conjecture and suppose, and I think, and maybe. All of that was not a problem. The problem for her is when she said he sits on this board. He does not. And she knows he does not. MS Now knows that he does not. That's a simple internet search. He does not. Go to Open Secrets. You could see it for yourself. I'm surprised if she's not going to be reading one of those blue cards that they always have on ABC when The View is on. We made a mistake. I'm super sorry, blah, blah, blah. If she does not, she can look forward to renting her underwear from him, because he's had enough. The Trump family has been through the ringer for the last 8 years. They've put these people through all kind of hell, all kind of lawsuits, the Department of Justice after them. The whole time while Biden and his family were playing in our face, they were accusing the Trumps of this. So every single time the Trump family can get their lick back, they should get it. I hope Eric sues her and MS Now for everything they have.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. She won't have a job. Shelley, what are your thoughts on this? You think she
So-
crossed the line or no?
Well, if she said that he's on the board and he's not, and that can all be, like you said, open secrets, whatever, then of course he has a case. I want to go a little bit further. Okay. So I'm going to be equal opportunity. I heard about, and I read about it in the Wall Street Journal, the other article she alluded to, she mentioned with Donald Trump Jr. and the Pentagon contracts, including with Eric Trump. I have a problem with that. I do. We made a big case about it when Hunter Biden was doing the same thing, and any other, the Bushes, whomever, the Cheneys, whenever these people are making money because of their fathers, because they're presidents, because their father's presidency, I have a problem with that. I don't care what the party is. Okay. So when I read about when the Wall Street Journal mentioned earlier this month or last month about Don Trump's connection with that company, the drones. There are 6 different companies I wrote down: Power US, Extend, America Venture. 4 different countries: Unusual Machines, things like that. Other companies, I should say. They are, I think, using their leverage. They are. When Hunter Biden was doing it, it was wrong. If the Trumps are doing it, I think it's wrong too. I don't care what the party is. I really don't. I care that they are leveraging out their position with their father, family members to get these big contracts. Now, on the other side, the Wall Street Journal also is reporting that the defense industry at large, they are looking to open up the market, if you will, to smaller startup companies. Okay. To do business with, instead of having these prime companies only that they get the big business and suck it up, they're opening up the market. So that could be one avenue. But I have a problem ethically. Legally, they may not be doing anything wrong. Legally, ethically, I don't think it looks good. I just don't.
So back to you, Nicole. Do you think there is some do you think this is wrong, that they should not be they should not have any ties to these companies in defense?
I think in an ideal world, yes, but I also know that neither of the Trumps are majority stakeholders in any of these companies. They have, when you elect very wealthy people and that their children have grown up wealthy, they've got a lot of tentacles and a lot of things. And what Trump has done is he said, I won't run any of my companies. I'm not going to make any decisions in any of my companies. I'm giving all of the companies over to my sons. So the sons already had their own companies. And yes, you're right, Shelley, that Trump name means something, but it would mean something today, and it's going to mean something when Trump is out of office. You look at, for example, Malia Obama. I think that's still her name. I'm not sure if she's changed it yet or not, but the Obama girls who, $250,000 just for breathing. Just because
I think the big part, the ethical part, is at least when their fathers, again, presidents, when they're in office and all this takes place. So again, I saw that ad, or not the ad, the interview with Maria Bartiromo with Eric Trump and the other guy, a $24 billion Pentagon contract. Well, ethically, again, legally, they may not be doing anything wrong. I will grant that. Legally, they may be all, above board. But ethically, to me, it just doesn't sit well. Ethically, the appearance of it. We said the same thing for when Hunter Biden did it, or again,
it is different. I do think it's a slight difference between them now, because one with Trump's sons, the companies that they're dealing with are all public companies. All right,
and they're legitimate. So, they make products. They do things.
Right. Hunter used LLCs. He avoided taxes. He hid foreign money. I don't see how you can equate the two between what Trump's sons are doing and what Hunter Biden did.
I said legally they may be above board. They probably are. I'm not taking that. I said ethically, because they are using the leverage of their president fathers. That's what I see. I wouldn't say that's the whole of it. That's a part of it, the appearance of it. So again, I'm not saying they're doing anything illegal. I'm not. Right. The companies
just
do
looks weird.
They're public. Yeah, it's just the appearance of it from an ethical basis. Not only that, I just enlarged this. I kind of categorize this. What did I write down here in my notes? I wrote down, to me, it's almost similar to being another form of insider trading in that sense.
To me, I don't see, unless you can connect the dots, as far like with the insider trading that we see what the Congress people are doing, where you have these people who have no expertise in stocks, in trading, and they are just they're doing better on the market than experts then that's something. There's definitely.
You don't think a $24 billion is better on the market?
1 second. But when you look, I mean, every president's family has had business. The Trump family has been in business in these types of businesses for generations, honestly. So if we see some type of impropriety where, again, there's examples, or there's some type of where they shouldn't be gaining in certain areas because they don't have an expertise in these areas, then I could see something, but I haven't seen that yet. I don't know.
I said there's legal and there's ethical, and part of the ethical standard is the appearance of. We've said that not even just for Hunter Biden. We've said that about other congressmen and politicians.
For sure.
The appearance of it. So again, I'm going to stress it. I'm not accusing them of doing anything illegal. I'm not at all. But I'm just saying ethically, I do think that's a part of it. A $24 billion contract and your son sits on their board, whatever his title may be. I think that is it's a little iffy in the appearance. Whether legally, illegal, no. But ethically, it's a little shaky in the appearance for me.
Right. Yeah. Well, Wrinkled Brain had a good point here. So, why say it if it's not illegal?
Because there's legal and then there's ethical. Those are two standards. So it doesn't matter.
How is it unethical?
I said because one of the criteria is having the appearance. Another criteria is having those connections. Again, that just because just by virtue of, in this case, the name or the person, then you have the leverage to get the same thing we said about Hunter Biden.
It's not the same.
He was using his father's name, the Biden name. Yes, he was.
No.
Yes, he was doing that too. Yes, he was.
Again, this is what folks sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think here. I think there's a huge difference between what Hunter Biden did and what these boys did because of the context. The Trump family has been working in these circles, in these areas for generations. All right. This is what they do. This is the business that they have been in. Hunter Biden has been known to have no specialty, to have no education in any of the businesses that he was working in, but he was only getting these entrances into these areas, and he was only getting paid for these because of the Biden name. Literally,
okay.
He was doing these paintings, and he had no training in painting.
Eric Trump in the interview with Maria Bartiromo, Eric Trump, and she even made the point. She said a couple times. She said, "Eric, you're in the hospitality business. So how does hospitality?" Again, I'm not saying he's doing anything illegal. His hospitality background gets him into robots. I mean, again, I'm not saying that it's illegal. I'm just saying from some of the appearance and by name virtue and the connections you have to that, you're not going to convince me. Yes, ethical is different than legal. We know that. That's a standard. That's a political, congressional, legal. We get it. But that you're not going to convince me that there is no part of that in the ethical side.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I could see what you're saying, but my final point on this is we are a free country, okay? And we're supposed to have procedures, rules, laws in place to prohibit people from gaming the system, and also doing, impropriety and things like this. But I still say, and like you mentioned, he is a business person. They are business people, and they should not be prohibited from doing doing that business. That's just unless if there is something that shows to me, and maybe I need to research this more, but to me, it's definitely different from what Hunter Biden did. I just is my point. But folks, sound off in the chat. Let us know what you think. Do you think that the Trump sons are, there is some similarities to what Hunter Biden did by being, the Biden son, by, being in their dads in the White House? Do you feel like that you can equate the two things that happened there with the businesses? Let us know what you think. Sound off. All right. So, moving right along, folks, to our cultural reaction segment. All right. So, Wow. Okay. So we got to get into Don Lemon. Don Lemon's been all over the place lately. As we said in the previous segment, the Democrats are losing their minds because they lost this whole gerrymandering, redistricting thing. They started it. They actually were doing this a while ago. Somebody asked me, well, have Democrats redistricting? Folks, Democrats have been gerrymandering states for the last several generations. All right. So they do this, but now they're losing their minds because what they started, they couldn't finish it. All right. As we said, folks,
The shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
That came to play. Right. So they're losing their minds, talking about Jim Crow. This even back in Jim Crow, Black people won't be able to vote. All this type of crap. And so take a look at this next clip. This is Don Lemon going off regarding a hearing where Wesley Hunt pushed back against their claims that they're putting Black folks back into Jim Crow. This is clip 5.
A lot of talk from my colleagues on the left too, as we shift toward this reinvigorated talk about Jim Crow and the past of this country. And as someone who is a direct descendant of a slave, as someone whose great-great-grandfather was born on a plantation, I can assure you, slavery is over. Jim Crow is dead. When I go anywhere, I don't see any white-only signs. I don't, I promise you. I am a Black man that represents a white majority district in Texas. The great-great-grandson of a man born on a plantation stands before you today as a proud conservative Republican from Texas, as a believer and follower in Christ, and as a believer in what this country can be if we allow equality for not just Muslim Americans, not just Buddhist Americans, but also Christian Americans like yourself. God bless you, young man. You give me a lot of hope for the future of this country. Thank you for having the courage. I yield back the remainder of my time.
Appearing to have no historic or current knowledge of the state of America and race relations. But he actually thinks he's not like them. You know what I'm saying? The N-words.
This reinvigorated talk about Jim Crow and the past of this country. And as someone who is a direct descendant of a slave, as someone whose great-great-grandfather was born on a plantation, I can assure you, slavery is over. Jim Crow is dead.
All right. Actually, I think we missed that part, the part I wanted to play on that.
Yeah, play it again. The Don Lemon part?
Yeah, Don Lemon. Let me see here. We'll go back to it. I want to pull that up again. But that's insane. So Don Lemon is basically saying that they're pushing Black folks back into Jim Crow. So first I want to say this, comparing the redistricting that we're talking about now to Jim Crow segregation, it really cheapens the real suffering that Black folks endured during actual Jim Crow. Okay. But these people, they don't care. They don't even care about Black people voting. They just want to emotionalize this thing and create the idea that Black people are having issues with voting to get people out to the polls. This is what they're doing. Shelley, what are your thoughts there?
So to Don, all I want to say this. Let me ask you this question. How much more self-hatred and self-delusion can you have being fake married to white massa, who literally you let massa fuck you?
Oh my God.
How much more deluded can you be? Delusional can you be? A white man that you hate, these white people that you hate, they all slave, but you got a whole personal massa just giving it to you, Dawn, every damn night.
Ooh.
Right there, massa. That's the spot. That's the spot, massa.
Yeah. Nicole, what are your thoughts?
Don't be coming to me next, KJ. Don't you come over here. Oh my God. Listen, Wes Hunt is a great guy. He's an amazing human being, and I've had the great pleasure of meeting him several times. One of the things that I think that people kind of lose when they're looking at Wes Hunt is not only is he a well-educated Black man that has a very typical Black American family structure. He's a West Point graduate. He served his country proudly. He's married to a white woman. They have some beautiful kids. Byron Donalds down in Florida is married to Erica. She's my whole home girl. Love me some Erica Donalds. She's also a white woman. So for me, the color so much doesn't matter. But apparently on the other side of the aisle, color matters so much that they're willing to dig up old Jim Crow. Jim been minding his business, resting in his grave. They just keep reviving Jim and bringing him back. I think what are we? Jim Crow 4.0 at this point? We didn't pass 2.0. Remember, Joe Biden said 2.0 during his election cycle. This is, like KJ said, an appeal to emotionalism for a certain subset of the African American culture. But like I said earlier, here's what they're not counting on. These Black kids behind us, these well-educated Black children and white young children, they're not as color struck. They're not as race baity as we are. I mean, this is a thing for us, but these kids date everybody. One day they're dating Korean, next day they're dating.
But that's the crazy thing. The same thing about Don Lemon. They're dating white folks, and then on the next breath, they're saying, "Oh, these white folks are keeping me down. They're oppressing me."
Well, nobody's oppressing Don Lemon. Listen, if Jim Crow 4.0,
Massa is pressing it good. Whip it, Massa. Whip it, Massa. Whip me.
No, I wouldn't say that. No,
I'm going to say
now, Don Lemon. His Massa is not oppressing him. He's plunging him. He's plugging him. But I want to let's get this clip of Don Lemon, exactly what he said. Okay, take a look here.
Self-hatred, self-hating person could even think that. What kind of self-hatred and delusion must you have in order to think something like that? How do you even look in the mirror? How do you sleep at night? What do you tell your kids? What do you tell your kids? What do you tell your Black kids? Because I don't know. I think maybe he's in an interracial marriage. I have nothing against that, but your kids are still Black, right? Because you're in an interracial marriage. So what do you tell your kids? How do you deal with your constituents? He says, "Well, I'm in I'm a majority white."
Again, you see how they try. He's interracial. One parent is Black, one is white. Oh, but you still got Black kids, so you're still oppressed. It's just stupid. But you see how they play on it. They don't care about the whiteness. Do you understand what I mean?
He shouldn't be speaking on this man's children.
How's he look in his own mirror?
He should not be speaking on this man's children. As somebody who's never going to have none unless he buys them from Target. He's not going to have any kids. He must be cruising for a bruising, because I'm telling you, that's one way to get your nuts kicked in, is talking about somebody's kids when clearly you do not have the authority to do so. That is so foul, so out of bounds. And this is not how we do politics in the United States, but this is how Don
Lemon this is the man who went into a church as they were in service and held a protest. He telling people that they need to look within because they were supporting closed borders. He broke up the church. This man has no scruples. He has no manners. He has no shame. All right. He has none.
Right.
What he's going to have is some bunkmates when he goes to federal prison.
What he does have is ass for Massa tonight. That's what he has. He has ass for Massa so he can get his tonight, because Massa is going to whip his ass and he's going to love it. Hit the spot, Massa. That's what he's going to say.
Yeah. Listen. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. But this is what I'm talking about. You can remove it, production. This is what we're talking about. These people, I don't know if I'm as positive as you are, Nicole, because I've seen some of these young Black people that are in these leftist institutions, and they come from wealth, they come from privilege, and all this type of stuff. And they're saying the same, they're quoting the same lines as the Democrats. They are being told in these institutions, private schools, okay, that they are oppressed, that the white folks are keeping them down, that they have no agency, that they live in a country that is systemically racist, and that it's so much so that they can't get ahead. They won't be able to get ahead. I have seen this. It is something that they say over and over again. Now, I think there probably are some that may not feel this way, but honestly, I think the most of them do. I don't know.
I'm gonna say this, KJ. It's hard to feel like you're oppressed when you have the latest of everything. When you feel oppressed and you go outside and get in your Beamer and drive off, eventually reality is going to sink in, and it happens.
No, not for them.
Think back to when you were a young person and everything was coming up roses and flowers and you had less responsibilities. The world was a different place. What I'm saying, as they grow older, hopefully wisdom will come.
No,
hopefully wisdom will come.
They are past
I'm
that part.
very optimistic.
They are firmly believing what they put out, and it's twisted, it's warped. I mean, certainly for the Don Lemons of the world, who has a white man on his arm as a spouse. And he talks about being oppressed. I mean, how deluded can you be? I mean, that is self-delusion.
I think smart people, wise people see it the way I do in this regard, that you can't be oppressed when you get paid $1 million an episode. Now, if that's oppression, oppress me right now. Go ahead and just do what you got to do. But it's hard to be oppressed when you're incredibly filthy rich. Tell me about Jim Crow when you turn on all of these liberal stations and almost all of their news programs have a majority Black hosts on it. Tell me again about your oppression. You cannot tell me that when you're living the life that the ancestors who were oppressed couldn't even conceive. They could never conceive that a gay Black man married to a white man who makes $1 million an episode actually would exist, let alone be on TV. They couldn't conceive that.
We're living in a different time now. I mean, you literally have millionaires within Hollywood who believe this. We have a clip here. I don't know if we have it, where these celebrities who are making millions are being asked about capitalism, and you would think these people are the poorest of the poor. They're sitting here in their $1 million, $100,000 gowns, some probably millions, and they're saying this. Take a look at this clip here. Do we have this ready, production? Oh, maybe we don't.
I like what Wrinkled Brain said.
Let me read the super chats first while we're waiting.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Super chats. All right, we have Pricey. Hi, Pricey P. Thank you for your $10 super chat. Pricey says, Shelly E is right. I love the entire panel. Nicole and KJ, keep bringing it, girls. Thank you for that, Pricey. We have, who is this next? We have Wrinkle Brain. Thank you for your $10 super chat. Don is overcompensating for the fact that he's a nasty, sick, evil sodomite.
Oh,
trying to stay connected to the Black community as best he can. Okay, thank you for that, Wrinkle Brain. We have Silver. Thank you for your $5 super chat. He makes me sick. I know, right? I'm with you there. Christy, thank you for your $20 super chat. If it's different, I'm sorry, help me out. What does that say? Am I reading that correctly?
If it's different because the Trump name has been
because the Trump name has been extremely well known for decades, that had nothing whatsoever to do with a political affiliation, whereas Hunter only could profit from their name because
that's a very good point.
Office. Okay, I would push back and say only there are some differences and there are some similarities, but you're not going to convince me that the ethical part does not have a play. But thank you for your super chat. Hi, Bernie. Thank you for your $5.
Hey,
Nicole, one term is way too much for some people.
Absolutely. It's going to be a long 4 years.
We have Sean. Thank you, Sean, for your $2 super chat. Thank you, everybody in the chat who, I'm sorry. We have one more.
All right. Look at this clip. Take a look here. These are millionaires talking about this.
My God. There's a long list. Where do I start? The only people that really benefit are the top 0.003%.
Agreed. It's very simple. It's just way too imbalanced. There's no way you need to have all that damn money and people out here and can't eat.
Capitalism is a system of evil that is oppressing all of us in a hamster race in which the majority of people cannot win.
How do you figure out a way to make capitalism work for everyone when you kind of need someone to be poor for someone to be rich?
I don't know that you think that putting other people down is the only way that you can win.
Okay, well, we're in late stage capitalism, so if you don't love it, it's almost over.
The unfairness of the entire system.
The idea that we can't all win together, I hate that. That's what comes from this all, because we can't. Why not?
Oh, like currency is made up, credit is made up, debt is made up. Why do people have student debt?
Why are we all grinding? Why are we all working so hard to make money for who? Who is this for?
My rant is that capitalism is the greatest evil in the world. Like the people that are like, oh, but like, don't you enjoy the nice things? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, I do. And also, I would be okay with it if it meant that more people in the world could live without oppression. Like, hello.
The thing that annoys you the most about capitalism.
Oh my God.
That's a long list.
Okay, those are weird people, KJ. And a couple of them, I don't even think they're American. But let's not do that. Let's talk about, what's her name? The girl, the singer, Billie Eilish.
Keke Palmer.
Who walked it? Well, Keke Palmer, she got some issues, and we all knew that.
That was Lakeith, what's his name? All of them are American.
They believe that mess.
They don't believe that mess. They don't believe that. Again, let's go back to Billie Eilish. She was like, we're on stolen land until the tribe sued her for her damn mansion. And then suddenly the land wasn't stolen. Suddenly she had maps and markers and a mortgage and landowner rights, right? It's all good for the camera, but what do they really believe? Because I don't know who the little Asian chick was. And she's like, oh, I could do with less. No, you couldn't. You've done everything you needed to do to get into the position that you are in now. You sold your soul several times over. God only knows what you had to do to get into that position. Rich. She wouldn't be poor.
I don't know. I just know I've talked to these multiple people who are Black who say the same thing. And they have money, they have access, and they have, different things. And they're saying this stuff. They're saying this crap. They believe that they are oppressed. They believe that they are being hunted in the streets by police. They believe all this stuff. And most of them don't even live around Black folks. This is the thing that pisses me off so much with these people. They continue to recant these phrases and things. They don't even live around Black folks. They live in suburbs. They live in areas that, they don't even see Black. They don't have Black neighbors. And they say that white people are so racist, that they are oppressed. And it just doesn't make sense. But they push this over and over again and again. And
because in some of their minds, they're still trying to be accepted by white people.
That's what I was going to say, Shelly. This is a popular thing.
They still think white people are the standard, if you will, that they have to live up to, and that they will never be accepted. They'll never be good enough. They still live as if white people are their gods. They make white people their god. That's what they do. And they have to live up to whatever's in their mind that they think they have to do to impress white people. White people ain't thinking about you. Many Black people ain't thinking about you. You're crazy. Again, they hate America. They hate America. That's it.
I know we got to move on, but how do we push back against this? Let's talk about the HBCUs. Your kid goes to an HBCU. This is the stuff they're feeding them all day long. They're telling them this stuff. So when your kid comes back from college, if you send them there, and particularly if he goes to an HBCU, he's being or she's being told this stuff. So they come back indoctrinated like they're slaves, they're victims, they're being oppressed. They're going back to their single family homes with their 2, 3, 4 car garages, and they believe that they're being oppressed. And they're teaching this in the HBCUs. It's no longer the idea that we are overcomers and that we, our ancestry came here, under, intense, slavery and segregation and things like that. But we overcame. The overcame is gone. And all they're pushing about now is we're all victims. Why would you send your child to an HBCU these days? I don't know. I wouldn't.
because they want to experience what being black is.
I was just talking to folks. You check out metroconservativemedia.com. We have a writer on there named Charisma. Is she an attorney? I think no,
she's not an attorney.
She's sort of in like divinity.
Yeah.
And she was attending Howard University School of Divinity. Now, she is a conservative, sweet girl, black girl, okay? And they just put her out because she had conservative, traditional viewpoints. And in the divinity school, they're pushing this leftist crap, and they ostracized her. They ostracized her. I don't know if she left, but I mean, she was on the verge of leaving.
Right.
It had gotten so bad, all because she's a conservative. They treated her like dirt at an HBCU, and she is black.
And now you have the link, part of the link to where we get a lot of these preachers, HBCU preachers coming out from these divinity schools, and they preach and they bring this leftism, this leftist ideology, black theology, whatever you want to call it, to the pulpits.
Yeah. I hope, I try to have some type of faith with this stuff. And then I talk to some of the young people. I'm telling you, I'm around young people. And when I say young people, I'm talking about high schoolers, even in the institutions that are somewhat more conservative. The little bit of black folks there are poisoning the ones that are there. I am done with people, folks. I am so done with these people, with this pushing this victim crap on our young people and ostracizing them when they think differently.
Yeah.
And I see it all throughout Maryland, DC, definitely DC. Now Virginia, it's all over the place. They lie. Speaking of liars, let's move on to The View. Folks, The View. Talk about the people pushing these, what do you call it, Shelley? The Divine Nines and all this.
Yes.
The View, Sunny Hostin. Now she's all right. So let me give you a backstory. All right. And this story actually has a little bit of nuance. Okay. So they have come out with a remake of The Odyssey. Christopher Nolan just confirmed that he's put together an adaptation of Homer's ancient Greek epic, The Odyssey. All right. The film stars Matt Damon. He is playing Odysseus, the Greek king of Ithaca, and it chronicles his long and perilous journey home after the Trojan War as he attempts to reunite with his wife Penelope. She's played by Anne Hathaway. It's an ensemble cast. Actually, it's a great cast. I mean, you got Tom Holland, you got Robert Pattinson, Charlize Theron, and playing who is she playing? Helen of Troy. Is Lupita Nyong'o. All right, this is her here. First off, I want to say, I personally believe Lupita Nyong'o is one of the most beautiful actors.
She is beautiful.
I have been a fan of hers. I don't agree with her politics, but I have been a personal fan of hers since she came out. She's been in movies such as the Black Panther. She's been in a couple 12 Years a Slave. She was in one of the sequels to A Quiet Place.
That's right. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I remember it.
She was in there, and she's a great actress. And I honestly, I think she's gorgeous. Okay.
She is beautiful.
Well, there's been an uproar about her outrage over her playing Helen of Troy. All right. Also, we know it's called The Face That Launched 1,000 Ships in The Odyssey. Okay. People are blasting it. Elon Musk came out, blasted it as an awards bait, calling it an insult to Homer's description of fair Greek Helen. Greek outlets are questioning state funding for production shooting in authentic locations while race swapping the core figure. I mean, the list goes on. All right. That takes us to The View. So here we have Sunny Hostin, and now she is trying to give a reason why it's okay for Lupita Nyong'o to play Helen of Troy. This is clip 6.
Idea was also explored in a book called Black Athena. I think people should read it, which argues that classical Greek culture is heavily indebted to Afro-Asiatic and Near Eastern roots. I actually taught Greek mythology to 8th graders. And so I covered this. So people that are saying that Helen of Troy could not possibly be played by a Black woman don't know history.
But what is it? All right. So first, let's respond to that dumbassery. All right. It's not true. It's just not true. What are your thoughts there, Shelley?
First, I'm trying to understand what she's talking about. Is she saying that Greece was influenced by some African in history? Okay, I mean, almost every country or continent influenced other continents and countries in a huge way at some point historically. I don't understand. Look, Sunny, I can't. Sunny is just dumb.
Yeah. And what she said made no sense, and it had no historical truth to it at all. Nothing African is in Greece, and none of the origins are from Africa.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what she was talking about. I mean, it was so broad. But nevertheless, let me say this.
But before we go into the next part, what are your thoughts on what Sunny said, Nicole?
Foolishness, as per usual. I'm not shocked. I mean, I think for her, anytime that she has an opportunity to put a Black man or woman even a half a millimeter in front of anybody else, she's going to take it. This is where the Democrats are. It's Black, it's great. If it's not Black, it's mediocre. And she stands on that every single episode.
Yeah, it's so far off the beaten path. I don't know what she was trying to.
It wasn't even pertinent to what the question was. I mean, yes,
well, she's trying to say that Africa had some type of connection, influence. I guess I don't know if she meant as far as biologically. I don't know if she means
she meant historically. I mean, way back.
There's
way back in the Egyptian times, Northern Africa, with some of the trade and things like that. That's about that. I think that's what she was talking about. I'm guessing.
Well, there's trade, but there is nothing African about Greece. Nothing. Greece initiated as a farming populations, and the ethnicity was Turkish, which was Anatolia. And Asian, AEGEAN world. Okay, but most of them, their background came from the not Mayans, but the
Mesopotamian.
Mycenaeans.
The Mycenaeans.
Yes,
I know
the Mycenaeans.
I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I think she's talking about historically. I'm just guessing historically with the trade. When you do trade with different countries, there's some influence. That's the only thing I think she's talking about. That's
not true. But I think trace the DNA of the Greeks, because they're
I don't know. You think she meant biologically? I'm thinking she just meant biologically.
What else does she mean when she's trying to say that a dark-skinned woman is okay to play a traditional Caucasian woman?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what she's
saying. She's trying to make the claim that there was some type of Africanness in Greece. That's not true. That's not true. Genetically, they're the most. They can trace their genetics back, just like the Jews. The Greeks are one of the peoples that they have very small amounts of intertwining. And so they have been able to trace their ancestry back. It's Indo-European ancestry from the north. It's the Caucasus, the Balkans. All of these people are European. There's nothing Black there. It's nothing.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Of significance.
Yeah, I know what
I'm
you're
trying to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Nicole.
The book says, let's just do that. Let's just say what the author said about the character, right? The book says she's white, that she was fair-skinned, and that's what she should be if they're staying true to the book. Now, if they're taking some kind of creative license like Hollywood likes to do, like when Idris Elba was going to be 007 and British people were about to, burn down London Bridge, they were so upset, and people were like, why are you so mad? He he's a sexy man, he's a this man. And they were saying that's not the way the character was written. We don't want this particular type of person to play 007. He's supposed to be an older white man with some gray hair. Some people get very, very serious about how authors describe people and how they're depicted in movies. What Sonny's trying to do is she's trying to give Democrats some sort of talking point that they can hang on to continue to push Lupita into this role when everybody else is saying she does not fit the description in the book.
Well, we got some more clip.
No, what are your thoughts there as far as her Lupita being in the role?
Sonny notwithstanding, I don't really care. I care that the actresses and actors are good, that they bring some life to the characters, that they kind of make them their own, there's some creativity or creative license. It's a fiction book, if you will. It's a fiction. So it's fiction. So I don't really care that Homer describes her as fair skinned. If Lupita or whomever else, Anne Hathaway, they are good actors and actresses, I don't care. I frankly don't care. What happened? But if Sonny is making this argument, then the pushback would be, well, what happened to all this idea about cultural appropriation, that you can't do that? See, that's the part I have a problem with. You said it was wrong when others did it. Now it's okay because a Black woman is doing it. Now, again, let me stress, I don't care one way or the other. But when you said a straight person couldn't take on a homosexual role because they weren't gay in real life, then you're not sticking to whatever the standard you set up.
Well, let's do this. Let's make the next.
I wouldn't say I agree there. So I think what's happened is many of these Black Hollywood elites have made big deal when the Black person that was written as a Black character and the actor was not Black. And I mean, they had to be beligity Black. It couldn't be mixed. They wanted them Black, So now when it flips the other way, again, as you mentioned, they're not staying the same way. Now, I grew up and, you guys know, I've talked about this before. I've done community theater. I've been in, some small parts in movies and things like that. I am totally for colorblind casting.
Yeah.
As long as you can play the role, and particularly if it's not if it's not a real character. Okay. If it is a fictional character, then what's the big deal? The person's not real. This is what I don't understand. But it's just they're so hypocritical. These leftists. That's my issue. You make a big deal about it when it's the other reverse.
Excellent.
But now that it's a Black woman that is put in a historically white role, you say, oh, why are you saying that? These people are so fake and phony.
That's the part.
Listen, this is what I was going to say. Let's let Tom Holland play the new Black Panther and see what Hollywood does. Let's see him, wearing that bodysuit all over Wakanda and see how Black Hollywood responds to that. Another fictional character, let's see what Sonny says about that. I mean, it's she going to come back and talk about Indo-Asian people and blah, blah, blah. This is just a bunch of bluster. This is no longer about making things even. It's no longer about Black representation. This is about pushing the narrative of Black actors being able to play whatever they want to play, and white actors staying in your lane until you're called upon. This is where she is with it.
There's always this line of racism that just runs through everything that they talk about, really.
Yeah, you're right. And then another thing with this movie is they have the girl from what's her name? Ellen Page, which is now Elliot Page, is playing Troy, I believe. Not Troy, Achilles. Yeah, Achilles. Yeah. So, she's a trans actor, but she don't look nothing like Achilles. Achilles is supposed to be this strong, big, man, strong, and she's playing him. So it's just, this is all weird. I saw the trailer. I thought the trailer looked pretty good, but always messing up a good thing. I honestly love movies. I mean, I've always loved movies
too. But I
loved good movies with great cast and
that's what matters to me.
Plot and things, and they always mess it up.
You guys remember back in the day when you didn't want to read the book and you could just watch the movie, and then you could go to class the next day and kind of piece together a conversation with the people who actually read the book. Imagine the kids who are going to watch this version of the Odyssey, and they're going to have to go to school and try to explain it. Well, the gay guy who was the trans person, and then Helen of Troy was Black. And I mean, it's going to be a whole hot mess. This is the problem when they touch historical works of art. When you think about reading Odyssey and the Iliad, you know, usually middle school, when you start reading those kind of long epic adventure stories, these kids are going to be confused out of their minds. Absolutely confused out of their minds. We're not helping. We are not helping. Hollywood is of no help. None whatsoever to the children coming up. They're not going to be able to cheat. They're going to have to actually read the book. They're going to actually have to read.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we have a couple of super chatters.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a couple of supers out there. Thank you for your like, shares, and subscribe. We have Mac. Mac, thank you for your $5 super chat. Thank you for stopping by tonight. Silver is back. Thank you for being a member with us for 4 months. The more these people talk, the more God exposes them. Actors going to act. Things are changing little by little. Thank you for that. Anybody else out there tonight, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe before you leave. And remember, we have a website, metroconservativemedia.com, where you can go there, buy t-shirts, merchandise, other mugs, things like that. You can also subscribe to each one of the platforms. We have Just the Guys, we have Poppin' Politics, of course, and we have Christian Conservative on I'll keep saying Tuesdays. It's on Thursdays and Sundays.
Yep, that's right. That's right, folks. So we'll be back on tomorrow, Sunday. And as you mentioned, Just the Guys is tomorrow night night at 6:30. Breaking news out just now. Jesse Waters is reporting that the New York Times is reporting our military is preparing for another round of attacks, this time more aggressive. The attacks are scheduled for early as Monday in Iran, targeting infrastructure in Iran. The president's still reportedly considering a special operation raid to pull out the nuclear dust and possibly a ground assault on Karg Island. So we will stay tuned on that as the weekend progresses, but it looks like we may have something going on here. All right.
All righty.
God bless our troops.
Yes, God bless our troops.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, folks. Well, that does it for us tonight. Please, again, don't forget to share this broadcast. Send it in a social media, in a DM, on a text message. We want to get the word out. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. We'll be back on Monday night at 9 p.m. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.